Welcome to NYSE TV Live. I'm Caroline Woods. Today is Thursday, April 18th, and we're coming to you from high above the trading floor of the New York Stock Exchange. This morning, Ibotta will ring the opening bell as it gets set to officially list on the NYSE under the ticker symbol IBTA. All right, here's what we have on tap this morning. In just a few minutes, we'll take you live to the boardroom where Ibotta's CEO Bryan Leach will deliver remarks before NYSE President Lynn Martin presents him with an NYSE medallion, a listing certificate, and a first trade bell gavel. After that, Leach and Ibotta executives will take the elevator down to the iconic NYSE trading floor where they will sign the Distinguished Guest Book. The team will eventually make their way up to the podium at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. They'll ring the opening bell and open the U.S. equity markets. Now, Leach will join me for an interview later in today's broadcast to really discuss the significance of today and break down what's next for Ibotta after the company officially begins trading. All right, Ibotta is a performance marketing platform that makes it possible for customers and consumers to get real cash back on everyday purchases. And they're listing at a time when Americans are looking to save money in any way they possibly can because, of course, inflation continues to run hot. Consumer prices rose by 3.5% year over year in March. That was 0.3% higher than in February. And it makes the Fed's goal of trimming inflation down to its 2% target more challenging. Speaking of the Fed, it has not raised rates since last July, kept between 5.25% and 5.5%. However, recent inflation data suggests that the central bank may not be cutting rates as soon as expected either, even with the central bank still saying that they expect to cut rates 3 times this year. According to the CME FedWatch tool, which really acts as a barometer for market participants to gauge market expectations surrounding Fed policy, 80% of investors foresee only 2 rate cuts this year. The tool reveals that 69% of market participants see the first round of rate cuts beginning in September. Prior to the release of CPI data last week, investors were pricing in a more than 60% chance of the Fed beginning to cut rates in June. Now it's less than 20%. But here's how Ibotta's offerings can help consumers successfully navigate these economic headwinds. Ibotta allows brands to deliver digital promotions to hundreds of millions of consumers. So what does this mean? It means the company partners with retailers to offer customers discounts when they shop and when they use the Ibotta app. Retailers can take advantage of this using the Ibotta Performance Network, or IPN, which is designed to allow brands to maximize return on investment while delivering digital promotions. Since its inception more than a decade ago, Ibotta has credited American consumers with over $1.8 billion in cash rewards through its network. Ibotta says its performance network consists of more than 2,400 leading brands, many of which trade here on the New York Stock Exchange, and reaches 91% of American households. Here are some more noteworthy figures about Ibotta's reach. Now for some numbers, Ibotta's IPO filing revealed that it turned a profit in 2023 with net income of over $38 million. One of the biggest factors behind that was redemption revenue. That totaled $244 million, or 76% of total revenue in 2023. For Ibotta, it begins with identifying the current state of today's shopper, and according to a recent survey from them, 77% of consumers are prioritizing price over loyalty. When it comes to groceries in particular, Ibotta found that in February of 2024, consumers were looking for deals and savings more than they were during the same period of 2023. In fact, 40% of shoppers surveyed said they're looking for deals much more regularly. They've reaped the rewards from partnerships with big name retailers like Walmart and also bolstered the business with AI. But before we get to any more, let's go to the boardroom. NYSE President Lynn Martin is standing by with your CEO Bryan Leach. Let's toss over to them and I will talk to you in just a bit.
You all to the New York Stock Exchange. Did someone just say something? Okay. Man, what a deal you guys did last night. Congratulations. So today is not just about making every purchase rewarding from my perspective. It is about making one exceptional IPO rewarding. And that is you. Congratulations. If I look at your company and the road that you've taken to get here, I know there's been a tremendous amount of planning done to get here. 50 million registered users, about 800 employees, the amount of growth you've had through the IPN, the network that you've created, is truly transformational. And it is what has caused you to, as of last night, become the largest tech IPO out of Colorado ever. Ever! Now, while at times, I'm sure over the last couple of years, you're like, is this day ever gonna get here? Is this day ever gonna get here? I can't think of a better way to reward all of the hard work that you've undertaken than to call out that you are the largest tech IPO out of your fine state of all time. That's pretty unbelievable. Congratulations, today you're joining our community of 2,400 listed companies. Some of your largest partners are our partners. If I look at Walmart and Dollar General, those are two of our iconic companies. So we are thrilled, not about your existing set of partners, but how we further position you for the future. So today is day one of the next chapter in a truly historic, truly transformational company. With that, I'm going to call Bryan. Where did he go? Up to the stage.
It's almost impossible to describe what it feels like to stand here right now in this institution that's been with us for over 200 years, the most iconic exchange of its kind in the entire world. To know that, as I just found out 30 seconds ago, along with all of you, that we're the largest company, IPO in Colorado history. I can't even process that. Honestly, we're joined by the mayor of Denver and others. Set forth and tell everyone, please. So I want to, there's so many things I'm going to say over the course of today, as long as I have my voice, and I'll do it even when I'm hoarse. But there are so many people I want to thank. This room is full of people who, almost every single one of you, stood up for us when it was very, very, very unlikely we would ever see a day like this. People who just knew me or a piece of paper or not that great of an idea on a whiteboard. People who quit their jobs, took a huge pay cut to join us. People who invested in us along the way. Angel investors who are called angels for a reason. Early employees who went to incredible heights. As I look out over the audience, I recognize every single face, and I can imagine the contribution that every single person has made to my encouragement, my emotional health. This is super hard to do, and it's really something that we all achieve collectively. I want to say a special thanks to my wife, Jen, and my family. No entrepreneur can do this without the support of many people, but my wife is extraordinary. We've been together for 27 years. She's an entrepreneur, and without her, there's no chance I would ever make it. I'm very proud to be here with my daughters, Sydney and Sky. and both of my parents as well. You know, I'm lucky enough to say that I'm the son of a person who also took a company public in the United States, which is extraordinary. My father, David Leach, who did that 30 years ago, and to be back here with him is absolutely incredible. So today being here is really about celebrating all the people at Ibotta, all 800 of us, most of whom are back in Colorado watching this. And to all of you, when you see this, thank you so much. Thank you so much to everybody who every day comes in and does what we do. We've given away $1.8 billion to Americans, and we've somehow found a way to make money doing that. Incredibly proud of that. To Luke and all the original OGs who are here tonight, thank you all. I appreciate it. For years, we've been down this road together, and we've stared down some pretty bleak corridors. So to actually be in this moment is totally surreal. I think what we're going to do in the next few hours is something you couldn't do in any other country in the entire world. You know, to go from giving people a piece of paper that says Zing Enterprises, 74 cents a share, right? To go from holding a piece of paper to believing, because of our institutions, because of our legal system, that one day you could exchange that piece of paper that says 74 cents for $88 of real money. That's something that you can only do in very few places in the world. There are very few places where people like Larry Sonsini exist, places like Silicon Valley exist, where a dreamer with a whiteboard and no prior experience in business can show up, sketch out an idea, and raise millions of dollars. That's something that's genuinely unique and part of my American dream. So to all of you, you'll never know how much these moments mean to me, but they mean a lot because you're here. That's what matters. Yes, we did a hell of a deal. Sunit is a complete jujitsu when it comes to the IPO. Sunit and I got a big kick out of on the road show. We start out by saying that both of us are natives of Kenya. And then we watch as people look and stare and try to figure out if we're just messing with them. But it's true. 2 Kenyans on a road show. And to all of our friends from our banks who are here, who helped us, phenomenal job. This honestly, this last 14 days on the road was the highlight of my professional life and career. It was so much fun telling the story of everything that all of you have built, building these new partnerships that are going to be with us for years. I see so many of our investors and friends, and that to me was even more fun than I imagined in my mind's eye, which was saying something. So to Lynn and everybody else who hosts us today, thank you so much. Bonnie, thank you for having us. We're incredibly grateful for your hospitality, and I can't wait to see each and every one of you later on today. Have a great one. Let's go.
Things to do. So, we have a couple of traditions, being 232 years old next month. We have a couple of traditions that we like to bestow on every IPO, every bell ringer. First, everyone who rings our bell, our first bell in the case of you guys, receives a medallion. It's my honor to present you with this morning's opening bell medallion.
Thank you so much.
On the front of the medallion are our 6 pillars, which stand to a variety of things, but importantly, they stand for innovation and access to free markets around the globe. And on the back is the buttonwood tree. The buttonwood tree is where we were founded 232 years ago. It reminds us of our roots, but importantly, in this day and age, reminds us of our commitment to sustainability. After we're done opening the equities market, the global equities market, as I like to say, given the importance of the U.S., you are going to open your stock, which priced at 88 last night. We'll see where it opens. I'm thinking seems to be going in one direction, which is really good. You will use this mallet to open your stock when we are ready. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
we have for every company that joins our community, Bryan, is to present you with your original listing certificate. It's my honor to present this to you as someone who had an idea, was brave enough to change the world, and is now a member of our community. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Okay, I'm going to turn it back to our web host, Caroline, who is moderating the events for everyone who is joining us online, and then I will give you all directions for us.
Thanks so much, Lynn. That was NYSE's President Lynn Martin, and of course, Ibotta founder and CEO Bryan Leach. I now want to introduce Joe Semzar. He's head of East Coast Capital Markets at the NYSE. He formerly worked in the U.S. Department of Commerce. Joe, so good to have you here with us. I want to kind of have a retail focus here, given the fact that Ibotta is going public. Earlier this week, we did actually hear from the Commerce Department. They reported that retail sales increased by 0.7% in March, higher than expected. How should investors be looking at that as beneficial for Ibotta as it prepares to trade here on the NYSE?
Hey, thanks so much, Caroline. My mentor used to tell me that there is no force greater in this world than that of the U.S. consumer, and this definitely rings true with March retail sales indicating that the consumer continues to be resilient, with this retail sales print greatly outperforming consensus forecast. For context, median households saw their bank account balances go up by 50 to 60% at the start of the pandemic, both because income went up given government subsidy and because people reduced spending. These past few years, people have been spending down their bank account balances, and recently, credit card balances hit a record high, and delinquency rates for credit cards are back on the rise. So taking all of this into account, my sense is that people are still spending, but will certainly be looking to find savings, and Ibotta's platform is ripe to take advantage of this.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because we're all feeling the pressure. Inflation is currently running higher than the Fed's 2% goal, but even seeing that 3.5% number that we saw with CPI, when you go shopping or when you book a flight, when you buy groceries, it certainly feels higher than 3.5%. So how valuable is a company like Ibotta, which of course helps Americans save money at grocery stores and really across the retail sector, given this current economic climate where the consumer is spending but definitely stretched?
Grocery prices have gone up 25% since January of 2020, and this has outpaced inflation overall. I think if you were to ask traders across the street in January of 2024, just a few months ago, how many rate cuts they were expecting this year, many would have said 5 to 6. Now that expectation is down to 2. Meaning that last mile of getting inflation from 3.5% to the Fed's goal of 2% may be the hardest to achieve. Americans on average go to the grocery store 1.6 times per week. I personally feel like in our household, it's much more than that. And unlike cost of living adjustments you may have received to your salary that you forget about after it's communicated to you, we feel grocery prices every time we go to the grocery store. Heightened inflation has certainly eroded people's purchasing power, so money doesn't seem like it's going as far. And an increase in people's real income with inflation taken into account, is also slowing down. As income growth slows, people will slow their spending or will draw down savings or increase borrowing. Ultimately, my sense is that the market will value Ibotta like it does all other issuers. However, Ibotta's tech-savvy platform that consumers can turn to for savings during times of heightened inflation, depressed wages and savings, and increased credit card debt, I think this is going to get the attention of investors. It did just that last night when Ibotta priced $88, which was well above the range of $76 to $84. This is a really good sign for the company.
Yeah, $4 above that range, $1.8 billion in savings for Americans when they really need it. But Joe, I don't know. 2 rate cuts this year seems a little bit optimistic, according to several of the market strategists and economists that I speak to when I report on the floor. So TBD on that. Thank you so much for your insights. Really appreciate you joining the show.
Thanks so much.
All right, of course, we know Ibotta has a very important relationship with Walmart. NYSE TV lead anchor Trinity Chavez was actually at CES earlier this year and took a closer look at how the retail giant is using technology to drive its delivery solutions. Check it out.
People-led and tech-powered. That's Walmart's mission. They're the biggest retailer in the world, and they are here at CES showcasing how they are changing the future of retail through technology. Let's take a look.
This is the future of retail.
Welcome
Welcome
to
to your Walmart.
Amazing.
So we're in a room right now that really looks at the next generation of retail and how we are reimagining the future thanks to really our people who are leaning in, they're learning new skills, they're adapting, and we are able to then bring it to life. And what you're seeing behind us and on all the different walls is our next generation fulfillment centers that are active today that really allow our associates to work smarter with less heavy lifting and things. And then it allows us to deliver for our customers and members faster. This isn't new for Walmart. If you go back to even 1962, when our first store opened in Rogers, Arkansas, with Discount City, we have been using innovation and technology throughout that history, whether it's to produce daily sales records, whether that's for suppliers to be able to see how their inventory is selling in, putting technology at the top of our agenda. And so what we're really focused on is how do we help people save money and live better. For CES this week, we had 7 announcements that really underpin the work that we're doing at Walmart to deliver on that.
Wow. And you know what? Tell me what the biggest announcement was that you were showcasing here at CES. I mean, this is the biggest tech event in the world as we're walking through your whole installment here.
You're right now in the back room of what an associate sees and how they can use their mobile device to look at all the product coming in and the assortment and how they get it on the shelf for the customer.
Wait, so you just take your device, you scan, I guess, this barcode right here?
And you can do a demo here. You stand back and you get to scan it, and it's called VizPick. It's a visual-based system, and it uses AR technology to show associates where an item is needed. And so it really helps in terms of the incoming and the outcoming and makes our stores even more efficient. We know that when you exit a Sam's Club, one of the pain points is waiting in line. So we now have scan and go as you exit. Scan and go isn't new for us at Sam's or at Walmart, and it enables you to take things off the shelf, scan them, and then put them in your cart. You could actually put them right into your reusable bag. But now, by the end of this year, you can just walk out of the store.
Oh my gosh.
You will never have to wait in line again. So that's another announcement that we made.
No one likes
Everybody
lines.
hates lines, and everybody's looking at how can you save time. Time is money, and our purpose is around helping people save money and living better. And really to serve the customer, which is really what we're anchored on, we also announced delivery with drones. So we have delivery with drones today. We have 20,000 safe deliveries with drones. We are expanding though to enable anyone who's in the DFW area, Dallas-Fort Worth, to now have drone delivery coming up this year.
And just streamlining the process, revolutionizing the whole retail industry.
Well, and this is where we really think if you are a company like Walmart that's really using technology to improve people's lives, then technology becomes an enabler. It's a benefit for all of us.
Amazing.
Welcome back. I'm Caroline Woods, and I'm live from the trading floor right now, and I'm joined by Bonnie Hun. She is head of U.S. Capital Markets for the NYSE. Bonnie, thanks so much for joining us.
Yes, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here today for Ibotta's Listening Day.
I know it's a huge day for Ibotta, but it's also a big day for you because you've actually been working with Ibotta for years to get to this point.
Yes. So I remember my very first meeting 5 years ago in the Colorado offices, and that's when I first heard the Ibotta story. And it's amazing to kind of see how things have really evolved, because fast forward 2 years later, when I met with Sunit in 2021, that was when you started to kind of go down this IPO journey. But of course, to see sort of the pivot, to see the creation of the Ibotta Performance Network, to see all the things that you have done, and more importantly, it is really everyone that's contributed to making this an amazing IPO, an amazing next step in Ibotta's journey.
So you're the head of U.S. capital markets here at the NYSE. Tell us what Ibotta actually brings to the NYSE ecosystem, if you will.
Absolutely. So by quick background, I actually lead our U.S. capital markets, which means we really work with companies to bring them to the public markets and help them with that journey from private to public. And so with Ibotta, first off is like the network that you've built in terms of the CPG brands, in terms of the publishers. Those are all, a majority of them are actually part of our NYSE community. So we are so excited and honored to welcome Ibotta to that. And we're hoping that we can help with the continued growth of continuing to increase the number of CPG brands and also to increase the number of those other partners that are helping you, perform and do well in this new journey.
Talk to me a little bit more about how you help some of these companies on this journey of going public.
Yes. So as I mentioned, it's really important that my team helps to advise and to really lead, and the CEOs, the CFOs, the CMOs, everyone to kind of be successful in this journey. And it takes a couple of different forms. First off is we do host a lot of events and bring together thought leadership around the IPO readiness, around sort of what it takes to really become a public company. Secondly, NYSE provides tools to help understand your peers, understand and provide those analytics. And then lastly, we provide the best tools and services as a public company so that, again, we make sure that you start out life and you become a world-class public company.
And we're seeing some signs of life, some signs of thawing in the IPO market. What's next?
Absolutely. It's been a fantastic start to April. We had Reddit last month. Last week we had PAX. We had also UL Solutions. And of course today Ibotta raising almost $580 million. So again, I think there is definitely thawing. I'm excited. All these deals have performed well, and I'm optimistic that this will be the same for Ibotta today.
All right, Bonnie, thank you so much for joining the show. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Again, thank you and congratulations, everyone.
All right, I want to bring in Kevin Hawkins here. He's regional head of capital markets for the NYSE. Kevin, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely, thank you.
All right, so Ibotta is based in Denver. Did I hear Brian say the mayor of Denver might be here, or at least tuning in?
Yes, the mayor of Denver is here today.
So I just want to know the importance of a company like Ibotta as a Colorado listed company. Tell me more.
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't know if anybody saw, but CNBC did a feature last week on the importance of the Rocky Mountain region in Colorado. For Ibotta specifically, this is the largest tech IPO by proceeds in 20 plus years, I think maybe of all time. And so for Ibotta, congratulations. It's a wonderful outcome for you and your team that you've built this since 2011. It's a great outcome for the Rocky Mountain region and for Colorado specifically.
Talk to us about how you help to foster relationships with some of these companies that eventually list here on the NYSE.
Yeah, absolutely. We do a number of things with companies as they're leading up to IPO to bring visibility to them, to work with them, to ultimately get them to this point. It's a very challenging place to get for companies. It's a very select group of companies that IPO, and so NYSE works with companies of all shapes and sizes in their journey to become IPO and to get up on the bell like Brian and team are doing today.
All right, we only have about a minute or two before the opening bell, so just want to talk to you quickly. This isn't the end of the event. This is the main event, but what sort of events will companies like Ibotta experience here at the NYSE? There goes the crowd.
Absolutely. Not only here at the NYSE, we have 37,000 square feet of event space, so Ibotta is going to come back for investor days and board meetings and sales meetings and all sorts of things to use our resources, but also we'll plug them in our Denver community and our Colorado community at large. They'll participate in events there as well. So we're just so happy that they're in the community, and what a great outcome for the team.
Well, Kevin, thank you so much for joining us. We have 20 seconds until the opening bell.
Sounds good. Can't wait.
Caught you off guard there. All right, we have about 10 seconds before the opening bell. You'll see the podium. Ibotta is ready to ring. Check it out. cheering here. The U.S. capital markets are open for the trading day, and I am joined here by Michael Rankin. He is Senior Market Strategist for the NYSE. Thanks so much for joining us.
Carolyn, yeah, this is a great environment, right? It's great. It's a great day to celebrate here with Ibotta.
And I'm seeing some green on the screen.
Yeah, exactly. Markets are getting off to a little bit of a better start. We've had a little bit of a rough week so far. Markets are down about, the S&P is down about 2%, coming into today. But that's in the context of a rally that we've seen over the last 5 months.
All right, we were talking earlier in the show about hot inflation data, not really limiting consumer spending, despite the fact that the consumer is under pressure. So talk to me about what the key takeaways about the consumer are right now, given this kind of environment.
Yeah, so over the last couple of years, right, we've seen prices move, pretty significantly higher. And that has been pressuring the consumer, and they're feeling that. You can see that in the consumer sentiment numbers, right? But they're continuing to spend, and I think that's largely in part that due to the fact that we've had a very resilient labor market. Right, so consumers continue to spend, but they are really looking for that kind of value proposition, right? And that's one of the great things about Ibotta is that they're helping not only the consumer kind of save as they're spending money and helping in that value proposition, but also helping on the other side of things with their corporate the corporate clients.
And I think it's so important to note how vital the consumer is to the broader economy. Talk to me about the importance of a strong consumer to really keep this economy resilient.
Yeah, it is, especially within the U.S., this economy is very much driven by consumer spending. So if you look at personal consumption, that makes up about 70% of GDP here in the U.S., right? So, that is a very, very key driver. And then, as I sort of highlighted before, I think, that the labor market is kind of really the key, right? So as consumers, as long as people have jobs, right, they're showing this propensity to spend, but they are looking for that value proposition.
All right, so we just saw Ibotta ring the opening bell, of course. That's the main event for today. Hasn't actually started trading yet, but I'm curious because Ibotta actually has a retail focus and also, of course, an AI focus, which has been very much in vogue as of late. But how are investors kind of assessing the retail space right now? What are some of the trends that you're seeing? Is it in a good light? Is it in a more bearish light?
Yeah, it's a mixed bag right now, right? So we've seen over the last couple of years, right, the lower end consumer, right, has been really pressured. But one of the positives coming out of the inflation data last week was that we finally seen food inflation kind of level off, right? So kind of food inflation was unchanged month over month, right? So from an investor perspective, right, once again, it's like looking for that value proposition, right? We have started to see some signs and some commentary from higher end retailers and the luxury retailers over the last couple of weeks, suggesting that the high-end consumer, is starting to feel some of the pressure, and companies are having a little bit harder time passing on those costs, right? So, they do need to find, ways to kind of bring consumers, back to their product base, and once again, going back to Ibotta, it really helping that corporate client.
Yeah, $1.8 billion in savings, can't beat that, and making money somehow doing so, really can't beat that. But as I said, it also has an AI slant, and that's what this market seems to really like.
Yes. And from an AI perspective, right? The markets have been very much focused, kind of on the picks and shovels of AI over, kind of over the last, over the last year, and focusing on kind of data centers and semiconductors. But we're starting to really see that broaden out, right? And kind of that was something that we had seen during the Q1 earnings season, where you're starting to hear, more companies, kind of explain the value proposition of AI, and they're being rewarded for that.
Michael, thank you so much for your insights. Really appreciate your expertise.
Thanks for having me, and enjoy the day, everybody.
Yes, great. All right, I'm going to be back in just a few minutes with CEO Bryan Leach. But before I get to that, here's a quick word from Ibotta.
To prove that there is such a thing as free money, we gave people a little sample of Ibotta.
Hi, could I interest you in a sample from Ibotta?
What's going on? It's just money?
Ibotta is an app that gives you cash back every time you shop.
What is that?
It's money.
So I can just take this.
This is real?
This is insane.
What's the catch?
There's no catch. It's just cash.
Get cash back every time you shop with Ibotta.
Connecting the opportunity is just part of the hustle. Opportunity is using data to create a competitive advantage.
It's raising capital to help companies change the world.
It's making complicated financial concepts seem simple.
Opportunity is making the dream of home ownership a reality.
Writing new rules and redefining the game.
And driving the world forward to a greener energy future.
Opportunity is setting a goal
And charting a course to get there.
Sometimes the only thing standing between you and opportunity is someone who can make the connection.
At ICE, we connect people to opportunity.
All right, I'm waiting for CEO Bryan Leach to come down from the podium to join me, but while I do, let's take a quick check at the markets because I'm seeing some green arrows here, although I will say it's a little bit of a mixed picture. The Dow Jones up about 0.3% right now. That's about 104 points, so that's good news because it's been kind of off to a rocky start for the second quarter. Meanwhile, the Russell, which is small cap companies, smaller companies, that's just barely above the unchanged line, but hey, it's in the green nonetheless. The S&P 500 just below the unchanged line, so we're seeing a little bit of red there. That being said, it's still very early going in the session, so anything is possible. Now, it's important to note we haven't actually seen Ibotta shares open yet. That will take some time. In a little bit, we're going to talk to designated market maker Pete Giacchi over at Citadel Securities. He's going to explain the price discovery process and what really needs to happen before Ibotta can actually go public and before they can actually, they rang the opening bell, but they haven't actually began trading quite yet. So I'm just looking for Bryan. I haven't seen him yet, so I think it's important to just give a few fun facts for the NYSE. We talked about that Buttonwood Agreement, 1792, but the NYSE is actually the world's largest stock exchange. It's the oldest exchange still in existence here in the US. I'm told that Bryan Leach is walking to me now, so he'll be here in just a second. But this actual building dates back to 1903. Fun fact, it was the first air-conditioned building space in New York City. So a little bit of a fun fact there. I think one thing that surprises some people is that everything's electronic here now. There's handhelds that are being used, no more paper tickets, no more, yelling and screaming quite as much, although there's quite a bit of excitement going on now. But I see Bryan Leach here, so let's go have a chat. Bryan, congratulations.
Thank you so much, Caroline.
I'm curious because I read a story that you started Ibotta in a basement in Denver with no windows in 2011. What does it feel like to go from that to being on the floor of the NYSE, ringing the opening bell while your company is about to go public?
It's just an unbelievable privilege to be here, to be honest. On behalf of the 800 people who are part of Ibotta back in Denver, Colorado, we've come so far from the basement of a fire station all the way to the most iconic trading exchange in the whole wide world. Today is a special day for everyone who has saved money using our product, all of our clients, partners, and especially all of our employees and investors. We're so thrilled to be here.
Yes, we've been talking about that $1.8 billion in savings and somehow making money doing it. Very impressive. Curious about the timing. Obviously, it's very exciting for the NYSE. We're starting to see signs of life in the IPO market that had otherwise kind of frozen up. Why is now the right time to access the capital markets?
We think that any time you have a really strong company that's a profitable, growing company that's cash flow positive, that's always an attractive proposition for investors. I do think that the climate is getting better and better. We're proud to be part of the effort of reopening the markets. There have been great companies that have just come out and coming out after us, but we're at our journey right now. It makes sense to accelerate our business and to celebrate all of our investors and employees and bring in some of the world's best new investors too.
We've talked a lot about so far on this show how stretched the consumer is, still resilient, still spending, but there are a lot of inflationary pressures at play, and there's a Fed that might not be able to cut rates as much as we thought, maybe not at all this year, given kind of the inflationary landscape. What is the biggest issue that Ibotta is successfully solving for?
Look, there are 60% of Americans who are living paycheck to paycheck, and 75% say that they're financially insecure. We're helping people make money on everyday purchases that are not discretionary. So they're bread, milk, eggs, cheese, diapers, beer. These are the things that people buy, and we help cut them in on the deal by helping them save money. We're really proud to be in the giving away money business.
Yeah, I remember when I first downloaded Ibotta years ago, bananas always seemed to be the thing, and I don't like bananas, and I'd be like, I think I need to start liking if I want the money back. But you know, those of us that report here on the stock exchange floor every day are constantly combing through the economic data, combing through the earnings for really a glimpse into what the consumer is really facing right now. And I think you have a really interesting insight into the consumer. How would you describe the consumer right now?
Yeah, look, I think people are trying to make sure that they find value in everything that they buy every day. I think they are frustrated by the old model of having their data used to build an advertising business, and they don't get any benefit. And so why should they participate in that or opt in? We give them a different value exchange, which is we ask them to tell us what they buy. That's why it's called Ibotta, like I bought a bag of groceries. And in exchange, we cut them in on the deal and give them a little benefit in exchange for being part of creating that economic value.
And you're bolstering your AI capabilities, which is something that we know Wall Street really likes right now. So should we look at you as a retail company or an AI company?
I think we're a technology platform for marketing on a per sale basis. Everything we do is performance based, which is the real innovation. You're not paying for impressions and clicks. I also think AI is something we've been doing for years, but we're going to continue investing in it, put the right offer in front of the right consumer at the right time.
All right, tell us what's next. What's the growth strategy? Where do you go from here? Because this, I'm sure, feels like the end of a long journey, but it's just the beginning, right?
We're just in the very early innings of this opportunity. You know, our mission is make every purchase rewarding. We're going to take this moment and these proceeds, we're going to invest in our people and our innovation and build out our technology so it's better than ever before.
And speaking of your people, just want to give you a chance to give you a quick shout out to all the people that can't be here but helped you get here.
Huge shout out to everybody back in Denver, Colorado, to all the angel investors who believed in us when nobody else did, to all of our people who save money using our platform, who are big evangelists. We love you. We wouldn't be here without you.
Bryan, thank you so much and congratulations.
Thank you, Caroline.
All right. That was Bryan Leach, CEO of Ibotta. Very exciting day for him and his team. Going to toss to a video now showing the ICE experience from this year. Check it out. All right, we are back on the trading floor, taking a quick look, still looking at kind of a mixed picture right now for the markets. I'm gearing up to talk to Pete Giacchi. He's head of DMM trading at floor trading at Citadel Securities. He's the one that's making this all happen. He's getting Ibotta shares to a point where they actually will open and one thing I'm just looking to see here, nope, he's not quite ready yet. He's actually talking to Ibotta team members here, just kind of about the entire price discovery process. You'll see actually when we go over there, there's another bell. So the opening bell rings and the capital markets are underway, but then there's a first trade bell. When Ibotta actually trades, that bell will ring. Now I think it's important to note that Ibotta, we learned priced at $88 a share. That was at the high end of a range. So the range was $76 to $84. So $4 ahead. That's pretty impressive. I mean, Ibotta also posted, what, 3/4 of profitability in 2023. So really entering the capital markets on a very positive note. And in just a second, Pete will kind of walk us through what's going to happen with this entire process. But from my experience in IPOs, it could be hours before this actually opens up. So let's take a quick look. I see him wrapping up over here. All right, he's still chatting with Ibotta team members. But one of the other things that I was starting to mention here is that sometimes people are surprised that there's not as much paper going around on the New York Stock Exchange anymore. That being said, the New York Stock Exchange is the only exchange with human capital that still has people that work on here, people like DMMs, like Pete Giacchi, who we're going to be talking to. That really sets us apart. It helps to kind of decrease volatility. It makes things go much more smoothly, and it really is what makes the New York Stock Exchange so special. Of course, they utilize technology, but it's humans really at the forefront here. And it makes also working on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange very exciting because we have a huge community of people. I see Bryan Leach over with Pete Giacchi right now. He's getting a lesson probably in what's going on. Eager, I'm sure, for Ibotta shares to open up and hopefully open higher, as Lynn mentioned. All right, while we wait for Pete, let's go to a quick video, and we'll be back with you in just a second.
Around the world, the transition to a new energy economy presents a challenge for companies and investors. At ICE and the New York Stock Exchange, we facilitate the conversations to find solutions to complex problems. We gather a wide range of perspectives to help companies navigate the growing need to recognize climate risk as investment risk. We offer sustainability data and the world's most liquid environmental markets, so clients can measure, manage, and mitigate their risks. Wherever you are in your sustainability journey, we provide the tools and networks to help you identify risk, spot opportunity, and make more informed decisions.
We're seeing Pete Giacchi, a DMM at Citadel Securities, still talking Ibotta team members through the price discovery process. Like I said, it could take a little while before this actually opens up. And, I do think that while we're here, this is such an iconic institution that it's worth getting a little history lesson. I think that, the New York Stock Exchange really traces its roots to 1792. I mentioned the 1903 when the building first opened, but 1792 is where it traces its roots back to. A group of traders actually gathered underneath a buttonwood tree on Wall Street. They formed an agreement now known as the Buttonwood Agreement that's on the 7th floor here at the New York Stock Exchange, the actual agreement. It was to create a centralized marketplace for really buying and selling stocks and bonds. Little did they know that that really humble beginning would lay the foundation for one of the world's largest stock exchanges. So fast forward some 230 something years, we have over 2,400 listed companies. The NYSE has around $40 trillion in total market cap, and the exchange has become synonymous with corporate giants as it hosts some of the most recognizable names like Coca-Cola, IBM, and Disney, establishing investors really the opportunity to invest in well-established and trusted companies. But beyond the role in capital formation, the NYSE also plays a critical role in providing liquidity to the market. Liquidity really refers to the ease of buying and selling stocks. So the exchange provides a centralized platform where buyers and sellers can meet. And as I said, what sets us apart are people like Pete over there from Citadel Securities, DMMs, who really ensure a smooth process. So it doesn't look like we're going to be able to get him because he's busy explaining to Bryan Leach, CEO of Ibotta, about what's actually going on. I haven't seen any indications of how we expect this to open, but as I said, $88 a share at the top end of the range, actually higher than the top end of the range, $4 higher than the top end of the range. Sounds like a really good, potentially really good first day of trading, but as we know here, it's a long journey. One day doesn't make a trend, but very exciting day for Ibotta. We really appreciate you joining us here on the floor of the stock exchange. I hope that it feels like, even though you couldn't be here, that we brought you here as well. Thanks so much for joining again, and congratulations to all of the Ibotta employees and friends.
Iconic brands speak for themselves. The strongest brands stand the test of time. We are so excited to welcome you to our community. Today is all about you.
We've never lost sight of what we're trying to do and deliver that mission.
Going through this experience with my partners and my families has been unbelievable.
We imagined something that didn't exist yet, and we believed that we could do it.
You're going to look back on this accomplishment as one of the finest you've ever done.
I want you to know that the best is yet to come.
Just a few minutes, we'll go downstairs to the legendary New York Stock Exchange trading floor to ring the opening bell. The history here, the tradition, it's just incredible for us to be at this moment.